Okay, I won't. Sorry.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
You ready?
Cool.
Welcome to the show.
I can play this.
You can play this?
I can play this.
Should have brought your guitar.
There are too many of them things.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big show for you tonight. Welcome to Late Night, Date Night, Daytime, Day Grind. Wherever you are, whenever you are. We have in the house tonight Hugh of Ghoul Media. I actually pressed the wrong button. That was supposed to be the clap. There we go. We're going to fix it in post.
Hey, I can write you a song if you wanted to, dude.
Hey, we will take it. This is a bare bones production here. We will take it.
Budget cuts.
All right. Thank you guys for coming along. So, big show tonight. We have Hugh of Ghoul Media, YouTube legend. We're going to go into all sorts of topics tonight.
Heck yeah, man.
Hugh, welcome to the show.
Well, it's good to be here, man. Nice. I love the setup. As soon as I walked in, this is really nice. Almost nicer than mine.
Thank you. I worked hard to set this up. I appreciate you coming out, working us into your schedule. Mm-hmm. There's a lot I want to talk about. You've been doing YouTube for 9 years.
Yes.
I looked up a lot of statistics on you. You just crossed over 1,000 subscribers. Congrats.
Finally. Dude, that was a long time coming getting there. I'm going to tell you.
That's a big deal. That's impressive. So
yeah,
let's get straight to it. It's very interesting becoming a content creator. I'm kind of just starting my journey. You've been doing this for a while. Let's just start from the beginning. Why did you 9 years ago decide to start a YouTube channel?
I think at the time, I don't even know how long that was. 9 years. It was like 2012 or something. I was watching a lot of other guys like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and PewDiePie all back in the day. Even before they recorded or did it was, I can't remember the name, Rocket something, with the original Corridor crew. But ever since I started seeing these old films that these guys were doing and people building costumes out of cardboard or whatever they could salvage, I was like, I want to try that. I have a very artistic sort of mindset, and even when I was little, I was always building stuff with Legos or just finding the strangest thing and just putting it together, either hot glue, fiberglass, or whatever it was. So it fascinated me when I was little. And when I started fidgeting and over the course of time, I just started to have a really nice, really cool niche for it. I just liked building stuff. Because in high school, I remember I was into engineering, robotics, architecture. So that brought out even more of that artistic side as far as crafting, building, designing, all that sort of stuff. So the filmmaking back in the day, early 2000s, started the whole filmmaking and film producer stuff, as well as some half-budgeted costume designers back then started getting me into that. And it just went up from there. I started working with little things. Now I'm working with bigger stuff.
Interesting. So a lot of the crafting is what got you interested, seeing other YouTubers. What, as far as that goes, like, what's the first video you made? What brought you to the point with those interests you just mentioned? What made you say, you know what, I'm going to film this, I'm going to put it on YouTube? Was it anything in particular? Was it just, I'm going to throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks? Was it, you know what, I have this one idea, I've been watching this, I want to make a video about this?
It was pretty much that, like, just spitting at the wall, like, all right, let's just put this dumb, goofy thing together and see what happens. And it never went anywhere, let's be honest. Like, I never knew how to grow a channel or anything. We were just putting stuff together just for silliness, for goofiness, because we had access to these things.
like cameras and equipment.
Yeah, like we had the old. Oh gosh, I even still have it. It's the old Coolpix digital camera with the little lens that sticks out. You know what I mean?
I had one of those and I never used it. I think I used it like twice.
It was actually great. Like I would think the first, I would say, legitimate film we did was the Late for School video, and we shot that on just this made up, cracked up sort of like rig out of like the cheesiest tripod we could find. And we shot that really nice, was it a front shot of the charger, my buddy's charger, and never learned any visual effects. We basically just slap visual effects of like blobs and stuff of the car teleporting. So we were just like putting ideas into our heads and like, hey, let's just see what happens if we did this thing with this thing that we just built or this thing that we just saw on YouTube.
So you want to make essentially to start short films?
Yes, like a little, not as goofy as they were back then, but now I want to do something a little more professional.
But in the beginning, so this is what. So I've been scrolling through your channel the last few weeks to get ready for this interview. We had a little bit of a delay with we had 2 hurricanes here. I don't know if you guys saw on the news. So a little bit of delay to get this interview set up. Your content is really diverse. I wrote myself a list just so I don't forget everything. You do personal vlogs, short horror films, cosplay, car videos, music where you actually play music. You have comedic tutorials, exercise videos. I mean, your channel is all over the place.
I know.
So I'm trying to find some common threads, and I think the common thread is that there's not one.
No.
I think your channel is, like it says, Green Ghoul Media, just kind of an open media company for anything that interests you.
It's just like an overall synopsis of things we could do. Like not just this specific thing, not just that specific thing. It's a culmination of everything that we can do.
So in the beginning, do you think that there was a specific vision of something you wanted to do, or was it always open? Did you start like, okay, I want to shoot a video about this, and that's what got you started? Or did you start out kind of scatterbrained, like I want to make videos about this, and this?
It started with film first before we did anything else like tutorials or whatever.
Okay.
Film was the first thing we all wanted to do because we all had the time for it. We all had the equipment for it.
And you guys have no formal training?
No, not at all. It's all self-taught.
And
it's just playing around.
Is Green Ghoul Media just you, or is it a collaboration of people?
It's mostly me, but I always incorporate friends into it as well. Like,
but Green Ghoul Media is you. It's your channel.
It is me, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So you basically, you saw people having success starting this, these endeavors of creativity, and you just looked in the mirror and said, I can do this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I'm going to give it a whirl and see what we can do with it.
What was your absolute first video? The first thing you uploaded, you have to know. What was the first video you uploaded to YouTube?
Gosh. It wasn't Late for School. I know that for sure. I believe it was, it's not, I don't even know if it's on Green Ghoul Media. It's on my old gaming channel, which should be deleted by now. I think it was a...
so if YouTube is correct, I just put into your videos and put oldest. I'm going with YouTube. So you might have done some other social medias, but YouTube is showing me...
It's the Late for School, isn't it? Or the
Guitar Covers is first.
Covers first, yeah.
Guitar Covers, Markiplier Special.
It was a re-upload, actually.
Shirk Haunted something. Renew? I can't read it. The numbers are in the way. But then Late for School.
Yeah. There's a film prior to that, the Late for School. And the music, like,
what did you put it on?
It was on the old gaming channel. I think it was called Hugh and Ryan Gaming or something.
Interesting. But so it was a YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's still up. Like, it's still there.
So that was a separate channel. But for Green Ghoul Media...
Before I split it into Green Ghoul Media, the Hugh and Ryan channel, or used to be called Arbor 95 Full, that had all my stuff before I split the two from gaming to the rest of the stuff. And then it was just gaming, which I dropped entirely because it was too complicated and too competitive.
Interesting. So you thought primarily maybe you do like a video game channel, stuff like that, Twitch, streaming.
It was almost a mix of games, solo game and indie game playing, horror games, and then with some films here and there. The problem was it never got the view count it needed, and I was putting all this work into these gaming videos, and it never got the attention. Some of them did, some of them didn't, but I dropped it after a couple of years because it was just not exceeding my expectation. It was failing entirely. And it's also because while you're trying to do this, gaming, there's other millions of people doing the same thing. And it's competitive. Like, why is this guy supposed to be funnier than this guy? Why is this guy playing this game and not this game? You two are doing the same category of game. So it became this convoluted and complicated situation where I was like, I got to get out of this. I got to split off the rest of this stuff, leave the gaming to basically die in a grave, and then just do the rest of the stuff that I want to do.
Interesting. I mean, I think the markets are saturated across everything. However,
it is.
Because the internet is basically everyone on the globe now, I think the markets are still continuing to grow.
It still is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think there's potential for anyone to start a YouTube channel anytime. If you have an idea, you want to pursue something, I think there's plenty of time.
Especially now. Now that this stuff is being reestablished again and brought back to the light for people, now is the best time to do it.
Well, media is becoming democratized. Traditional media is dying, and people are going to the internet for all of their everything, their news, their entertainment. And I think people's attention is the currency of today. That's what everyone wants. What advertisers are selling. They're selling people's attention. So I think there's plenty of time. There's plenty of market share, but finding your audience.
Yes.
That's one of the challenges, and I know it's something we want to talk about tonight. That's what I'm learning right now as well, and I know you've been battling this for a while.
Yeah.
So I wrote myself a note here looking at your content. So your highest viewed video was how to set up your car. This is a vlog from 8 years ago. This is a car vlog, how to set up your car vlog from 8 years ago. Yeah. This is your highest video. I think it was 33K views. It's a huge viewership.
It's insane. I didn't think it was going to get that far with it, as goofy as it was.
You also have one of your horror shorts. I believe it's mirror.exe is your top one.
There's also one prior to that, Xbox.exe.
Oh, that's the one that's more. Yeah, Xbox is above that. So that one's tens of thousands as well. But once again, your media is diverse. Yeah. So two completely different things. Let's look at your top two. You've got the car, how to set up a car vlog, which is a tutorial, and you've got entertainment. YouTube branches into two divergences. You're either doing entertainment or educational. Right. That's the foundation of all of YouTube. You have a pretty solid video in both.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you battle with that, your top videos being so different? And then I know that your top videos were from 8 years ago.
Yes.
And I know battling for attention is difficult.
Yeah.
So what do you think you've taken away from what you did then and what you're doing now?
Probably putting more time into it, because the Xbox video, we just kind of slapped together. I don't think we had a script or anything. Me and Dylan were just trying to come up with something.
Really? That one wasn't planned out?
There's no script for that.
No script, no shoot schedule, no shots?
Nope, nothing. All improv.
Interesting.
A lot of the films you'll see are all improv. The only one I had a real script for was a really old film called Shattuck, which is on the gaming channel now. That had a script. But
maybe that's your strong suit then.
It's just improv.
Maybe improv is what you do. Even your tutorials are funny.
Yeah.
Like I watched the car vlog one. I watched another one you did. Your tutorials are funny, so you definitely have humor about you, and maybe that's the commonality that'll help you succeed. Is that I think you're naturally funny.
Yeah, just naturally entertaining and funny, and just always improving something, whatever it is, whatever the first molecule that comes to my brain. It's like, all right, that's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna take care of this.
I like your short horror films too. So you mentioned earlier you don't have any formal training in any of this.
Nope,
did you go to like a graduate school? Did you go to college or anything?
Nothing.
Interesting. So no interest in pursuing like a technical school for film or anything like that?
I thought about it, but I think the only issue was budget at the time. And trying to find a specific path through them, because there's so many things I wanted to do. Like, I'm an all-in-one type of person.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, so you can't just be, I want to be a camera guy, and I kind of want to be a director. I want to be a producer. No, I want to be a songwriter. It's like, I don't know. There's 20 million things to juggle with. So I was like, I dropped it, budget mainly, but also because I'd rather just do me and just things that I know that I can do without having to go to a school to do it. You know, I always like self-teaching myself stuff rather than listening to a professor. I mean, watching YouTube videos, that's different. I mean, you laugh your ass off watching YouTube videos.
Some serious
okey-dokey,
action.
What is going
Some
on over there?
serious action going on with the neighbors.
It's like a horror film happening right now.
We
I'm
are
not even filming it.
We are shooting this around Halloween time, so
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
this could be some neighbors getting rascally around here.
Yeah, there's a behind the scenes action right now. That's
It's
hilarious.
pretty wild. You know, it's funny. You usually can never hear anything in this studio, and I feel
Really?
like we're picking up more neighbor noise than
What
we
in
ever
the
have.
world? Oh my gosh,
I don't
that's
know.
funny.
The show must go on. It's getting wild. It's possible there's a murder going on next door, but what's a little murder in October?
Who cares?
But anyway, so interesting. So really no
Prior
no
training.
no training, no pursuits in that way. You just said, I mean, honestly, like I've learned almost all of this from watching YouTube videos. I mean, I have a background professionally working in front of the camera, a little bit producing, stunt work, stuff like that. But to do
This
all
guy's
the
insane, by the way. He's incredible and hilarious too.
thank you, that's super nice. I'll throw some applause in the background there. But it's funny though.
Editor? Bow, 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 bow. Okay, thanks.
He's on most of this I do in post. That's another thing I've learned too is like you can take what you think is really bad footage in the moment and you can
you make
turn
it
it into
funny.
something really good.
Oh yeah.
Editing is kind of amazed me. At first I hated it. I absolutely
Dude, it's
hated it.
So stressful.
And it's so time consuming.
Yes.
But the caveat is you can really showcase some creativity in editing. It's more time consuming than doing anything in front of the camera. But
Yes.
you can make something that's not funny. You can highlight something I've enjoyed in the podcast is being able to highlight reactions and moments. So I've done a lot of cuts now where when I first started, you know, I didn't even know how any of this worked. I just basically had just the master shot, which is the main big shot for everybody to see. But then when I got a little better at editing, I started focusing in on people in conversation, and you can really steer with the camera where the conversation is going and kind of allowing the audience to see a little tighter reactions. Like if I say something, you think it's stupid, and like you do a little eye roll, you might miss it on the big shot. But if you highlight it, then it becomes funny.
Yeah. If you over exaggerate it essentially, and then you're like, oh, how did I miss that?
Yeah, so I've been surprised that I've enjoyed that part of the process. I mean, I think I definitely would like to push editing onto somebody else, but I've enjoyed learning it in that aspect because it's really another form of expression.
Yeah.
And now I think I understand
Mm-hmm.
why, you know, like editing and things like this are like Academy Awards because it's one, it's a lot of work, and two, you can completely shift and shape what something is just by the editing.
Yep. Exactly.
You're editing one of the shorts I watched. I actually just commented on it right before you came in. I was watching more of your stuff to get prepared for this. Your teleport short.
Oh God.
Was
that the portal video?
The portal.
That was
I thought
hilarious.
that was one of the funniest things I've seen on your channel.
I can't believe I'm trying to remember if that was mine or Dylan's. I think it was both of us because that was the first.
There was
time.
another guy in it.
Yeah, my buddy Dylan. Dylan does games, by the way. Go check him out. Super hilarious kid, by the way. He's in the same boat as I am. He's having a really hard time trying to grow his YouTube channel. But my God, this kid he is funny as heck, man. Every time I hang out with him, he's just jokative. He's very energetic, very positive. I mean, wow.
I've learned so far. I mean, I've been doing it about a year plus, and I've learned you cannot count on the algorithm.
Yes.
If you lean on the algorithm will take care of me, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to market on your own, which is something I'm learning now. So I wasn't as focused on it in my first year because I knew I needed to kind of learn the medium. I needed to learn editing. So I kind of wanted to fail, put up some bad videos, get better.
Yeah.
So
well, you want to see what the result is. Yeah. Just to kind of toy with it a little bit.
Well, I think the best teacher is experience.
Yes.
So I needed to really work out the process. So like now I feel like I'm pretty confident with the two primary shows I'm doing right now, the podcast and the golf vlog. I feel confident in them now. So now I'm going to really start focus on marketing. That's some of the things I've talked about in some of the other interviews because I think that's the big key now is trying to get the word out. And that's like all business.
Yeah, anything.
Any
Doesn't matter
major
what it is,
business, Coca-Cola, Facebook, everyone has to market, any company for anything, any product, they dump tons of percentage of profit into marketing because it doesn't matter how great your product is if no one knows it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what's challenging for a lot of YouTubers, myself included. Once you feel pretty good about the product, trying to figure out, okay, now how do I find the audience? So some of the tactics I've been using so far is I started a TikTok, and I'm going to start an Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm not wild on social media. So when I pursued like a professional career, I actually went the opposite. I turned off all my social medias for the most part, and I changed my name to almost like a ghost account and just kept my family and friends. And I didn't want to mix my personal life and professional life.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to mix those because people.
But
will
most people
definitely-
do. But most people now, that's how you promote yourself.
Yeah, that's true. But you just do have to be careful because nowadays, if you post too much information about yourself, then that exposes a lot about the person, making the content or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's definitely weird, but this is what's tough now is because now I have a business. Now I want to turn this into a full blown production company.
Right.
Now, how do you grow that and get the word out and in a different manner, in a professional sense? How do you get subscribers, get viewership, get the word out? And this is kind of what I'm trying to figure out now, as far as that goes. So in your experience so far, you've been doing this like it's been 9 years. What do you think has worked for you?
Technically 5 years, but
What is it?
technically 5 years because the other 4 years were kind of dog doo doo.
You know what?
Just saying.
Dog doo-doo or not, J. Cole even says, put the bad up with the good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Put it
you're
all
right,
up
you're
there
right.
and see what sticks. So
right.
even if you
He's
don't
right.
think it's good, that's still experience.
Yeah.
You can learn from everything. So
Well, it's a portfolio essentially.
yeah.
Like,
So what do you
you're-
think in your 9 years? What do you think you've done right?
What I did wrong.
Yeah, and what do you think you've done wrong? Let's start with the good first.
Okay,
What do you
okay.
think in 9 years you've been doing well?
Probably just the improv, like improv, putting things together, and just mainly having fun with it. Like, there's no curriculum for it. There's no like budget. There's no restrictiveness to it. Having the freedom and just going at it, that's the good thing about it. Because then you get good stuff out of it. If you're restraining yourself to a piece of paper in front of you that says, "Oh, I have to say this." Wait, what if I don't say this? What if I say this thing? Now I got to go to the script. If you're restraining it to the specific thing, it doesn't seem to feel natural, I guess.
Well,
but
that's why good actors are paid so much.
Exactly. So a lot of good actors get paid a lot because they're allowed the freedom to do what they need to do, regardless of the script or whatever it is. But the good thing I've noticed is that improving is definitely key, and just having fun with it. Even if you do have a script, go a little off the chart a little bit and see what happens.
I'm surprised to find out that your horror shorts are not scripted.
You'd be surprised.
That's
Some
surprising
of them are
to me.
scripted. I think was
see,
the Mirror one scripted?
I think you have a negative
Yeah.
attitude about scripted because most productions, period, are scripted.
Yes.
That's normal, and I think
It's-
your strong suit is improv because, like I said, your top videos are improv, so that's what you do. But I don't know. I just find that interesting, especially with the horror stuff. So, like, did you block any of that out? So obviously, you have to pick the camera shots. You have to
Yes.
pick So
Yep. You
so
gotta get the
what is
lighting
your-
right and everything. And
So let's take like your top horror shorts, Xbox, Mirror, either one. So tell me about your process from start to finish. You don't have to go into super detail, but since you do like to improv, what is the process of? Okay, I have this idea. I want to film it. I want to edit it. So there must be some structure mixed in there because you made a product.
There is. So you even if it all is improv and just kind of on the spot, you do have to kind of at least make a note in your brain. Say, hey, we need to just make sure we're staying on topic and not going off to the side here. Like for the Xbox film, we were just like, okay, it's about a haunted console. Okay, that's easy. Let's just film the console and it explodes or something. No, because there has to be some. I like having facts when it comes to a horror film. So for the Xbox, it's like, well, it's not going to explode, and that's not a haunted console. That's not what it's supposed to do. So we're like, well, it's supposed to just act funny. Like it's glitching up or something like a natural console would. Like if you had an original Xbox, it's going to, have a little seizure here and there because of some component in it or whatever.
So did you storyboard any of this? So did you write down and plan?
It was on I think it was on a freaking sticky note. We're like, okay, so this is what this shot's supposed to be. This is what this one's supposed to be. So there was some tiny choreograph
Because
in it.
you filmed that with someone else.
Yeah, that was with Dylan.
So
my buddy Dylan. Yeah,
with someone else requires some form of structure. You
Yeah.
have to say, hey,
Yep.
I need you to show up at 8 p.m. Hey, we got to get X, Y, and Z done by 4 a.m. because I got to go to work the next day.
yeah.
So there is some structure, even in your improv universe.
There's a tiny structure in it, yeah. Because
but how even improv can just go off the rails. So so how long did it take you to shoot? Let's do Xbox. How long did it take you to shoot Xbox from womb to tomb?
It wasn't a full day. I know that. I think it took 5-6 hours. I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And so how did that work? So did you have your sticky notes?
Yep.
And you said, okay, this needs to go to this, to this, to this.
Yep.
So there was some structure there, and then you gave and you gave yourself and your friend Dylan. Okay, we can in the moment we can do this, and this, but this shot has to be this, and then this shot has to be this.
We have to. I guess it's part of it where it's like hard to explain because like from my improv, it's like it all's up here for me. So and even when I was doing some other stuff. There's not a lot of people who have that directive sort of mind where you don't even need a piece of paper to tell you what shots and what angles and what lighting. You just know, like in your own mind.
But when you're working with someone else, so being a YouTuber is interesting
a little bit. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. So that's the thing about being a content creator is you're a director, producer, writer, everything.
Yeah, you're everything.
If you're doing it on your own, you can go off 30 tangents during the shoot. But
this happens
when you have someone else there. You can't do that.
No, you have to restrain them a little bit.
You have limited time.
Yeah.
Okay, how long can I use this human for?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I want to shoot X, Y, and Z. So you do have to put on your director's hat for a little bit.
You have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have to if you want to get something done and it's like, hey, he doesn't have all day. He can't spend the night.
Exactly. With yourself, you have the benefit of I can do this forever, which might be a detriment because you might never finish a project. But with someone else,
yeah, you have
Dylan.
A set time
I've got
frame.
Dylan for 6 hours.
Yep.
I need to get X, Y, and Z. So that little bit of structure still gets you there. So like in your improv style, then how do you move scene to scene? Do you just move it and say, okay, this is good? Do you do it chronologically? Did you mix it up?
I think we did it chronologically. Yeah. We didn't jump around at all. We just did one little shot at a time. Where it started off really calm and it was just these little things happening with it. And then when it jumped to my shots when I was on the Xbox, then we had to go, okay, we need to not repeat the same process that we did with Dylan, but we need to have a stopping point. How does this film end? It's like, well, we're at the point where I think we've teased enough of what's going on with the console itself. We need to have the characters involved into finding out what's going on with this damn thing. So we ended it with the characters disappearing. Nobody knows what happened to them. So
did you know that was the ending before you shot? Or you came with that on the fly?
That was on the fly.
See,
because we were like,
your style stresses me out because you're jumping into a shoot with no structure to get to the end.
Yeah,
you're just hoping you get to the end through the process.
That's why it's hard to explain because like I just know it's here. But how do I express it to another actor?
Yeah, well, you're like a typical creative director. Your brain is all over the place. But the problem is, this is why producers exist. Producers are the structure guys. They take a creative guy like you with your creative vision. You want to go all over the place. Producer's job is to make it structural. Say, oh, okay, great. Great, you have this vision. Okay, well, we need to shoot in this location to get this. And then we need to leave at 10 o'clock because that's all we've paid for. Yeah. And we need to go to this location. And you only have this actor at this time. Yeah. It's kind of that marriage of it. But in YouTube, you're kind of doing it on a smaller scale and you're getting away with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, there's our time, we're breaking up. I think you've been getting away with it, but if you were to do some of your project on a larger scale, I think it would be tough for you to get to the finish line because your creativity is all over the place, which I love. But that can be difficult to work with other people.
Lineage to it, yeah.
Or an end.
Or an end.
How do you end it?
It just infinitely goes.
I don't know how we end it. We're at a commercial break. We're going to end this part 1. We'll see you in part 2. Welcome back to part 2. We're going over Hugh's process, which... process or lack thereof.
The mind-boggling annihilation that is my mind.
The fact that you're getting through productions with no plan, no ending, winging it. You might benefit from some structure. I don't know, possibly, but I find your stuff to be really funny. Let's go into. So we've talked about a little bit where you've been. I want to talk about next.
You mean right here? No, I'm just kidding.
I want to talk about your professional YouTube career, where you've been. I want to talk about where you're going. You're 9 years in. This is a long time to be pursuing anything.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot. You've made mistakes. You've had successes. Where do you want the channel to go now? Because I mentioned before, let's highlight it again, what your channel offers to the audience. Personal vlogs, horror films, cosplay, car videos, music, comedic tutorials, exercise shorts, just life check-ins. I saw you eating a chicken sandwich on your short. You have
that was
you have I saw you in an aquarium. I've seen you everywhere on your channel. So
do we not mention the ridiculousness that is the Dr. Squatch soap bar? I mean, good God.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Why?
I have
It's just one of those things
notes
where it's
on
like-
notes on notes. So here's what I'm trying to figure out. Where do you want to take this channel now? So you're 9 years in. Let's look at like a 3-year plan. What are your goals right now? Because more recently you've been doing some really cinematic car videos.
Yep.
You've moved into your Etsy shop, which I definitely want to highlight for our audience. Link below his Etsy shop for cosplay stuff.
Green Gold Crafting. Go check it out.
So, outsider looking in, it looks like your primary focus right now has been cinematic car videos and your cosplay Etsy shop.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this direction. Is this where you see your channel going right now?
Yeah, it's not just cinematic cars. I want to get into more cinematic projects in general. So expressing more film producing or film production, essentially.
So would you be happy just being behind the camera, not in front?
I would do either or. Like I like being in front of the camera. I like managing the camera. So it's like I do like doing both aspects of that.
But my question is, would you be as fulfilled if, like, let's say I hired you to just be a cinematographer?
Okay.
Hugh, I just want you to shoot this. I'm going to make this short martial arts film.
Yep.
I just want you to shoot it. Would that satisfy you creatively?
Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
I do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's what I feel like your car stuff is now. It's a lot of behind the camera stuff. Like, there's a few moments with you in front of the camera, like the Impala.
Yep. The
Which
Supernatural
I
Impala.
don't really understand that scene. So is that from that show? Is that what it's a take on?
It's more like a presentation video of the car, because the gentleman from Iconic Themes LLC, by the way, Instagram down there, Kyle, I ran into him at a convention center, and we are like, I kind of want to do a little something with this car just to see what it would look like on camera and in a short little presentation video. So we did that, and we did some intros and outro bits with the characters, me and my brother, essentially.
That's your brother?
That's my real brother.
That's your
yes.
actual brother?
My actual brother, yes.
Interesting.
Ironically, he got me into that show.
But it's kind of a spin on Supernatural, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Actually,
it's listed as.
If I remember that, I think the idea came from one of the, oh gosh, was it season 2, season 3? I don't remember. But it was an actual episode of just the car. And it was just a camera mounted inside the car, and you get, the boys are gone, and then you just get an interior POV shot of just inside the car. It was the whole episode, and this is the boys traveling from place to place. So I was
Interesting.
like, that episode kind of stuck with me. I was like, I kind of want to try that, but with a replica of the car.
But your focus has been the car shoots. Like, you shot the wide body Mustang,
Yep.
the Thundercat Challenger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost had it.
I always get those two mixed up.
I know, right?
Do you know why? Because I feel like the Challenger should be called the Charger and vice versa. I feel like the names are flip-flop of what they should be.
I kind of feel the same a little bit.
That's how I feel.
Because the body style back then was almost the same thing.
And just
now they made it a 4-door, and they call it a Charger.
I don't know. The names
it's
are
a
just
little weird.
The names feel flip-flop to me in my brain.
Yeah, I agree. But no, it's not just car stuff. I really want to start focusing on more professional films in general. Either being behind the camera or being in front of it. As a matter of fact,
I'm not supposed to reveal this yet, but you guys get a little sneak peek of this.
hey, I didn't tell you to turn on.
I'll edit in most of the sounds I do on this. They're all in post.
Just put you in there with the. Don't put the soundboard. Just you.
Well, I do that a lot too. I do. So I'm obsessed with the DJ horn, the rap DJ horn. I think it's exciting.
I gotta get you the actual thing.
No, I have it, but
you do?
but I usually just do it in post.
Oh,
This
okay.
soundboard, because I have my soundboard behind me, so I never use it. But I mean, I should. Like, it's here.
Yeah. There it is.
Like, it's back here, but because it's behind me and I wanted it kind of off camera,
Yeah.
I never use it. So I do all the sound effects in post.
Nothing wrong with that. Fix it in post.
One of these days, like I said, I built all this on my own. So one of these days I might like put it like down here where I can actually
Yeah, so you don't
utilize
see
it.
yourself touching it.
But this was about function. Yeah, this to me was to make this as easy as possible for somebody that learned all of this on YouTube.
Damn good job.
YouTube, hey, thank you. You can thank YouTube for teaching me everything here. I had some professional
Yes.
experience, but most of the tech stuff I learned on YouTube.
Tell you, man, YouTube comes in clutch. That taught
Bless
me
you,
a lot,
YouTube.
too.
Bless you.
If YouTube wasn't a thing back then, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Because
So professional filmmaking is where you want to go.
correct. And
So what's the dream? Green Ghoul Media, your Etsy shop makes $1 million. What's your dream? What do you want to do with your time? If you had to pick one thing.
damn, that's really tough because filmmaking is a passion. It really expresses a lot of my artistic mindset. But at the same time, building costumes and selling, costume accessories through Etsy, I think that might have started before the filmmaking. Because like I said, I used to play with little Legos and stuff and build things.
You're only one person.
I'm one guy, one man army essentially.
So if you had to build a direction, what would it be?
Professionally, filmmaking.
Okay.
But as a side hustle, costume design. Yeah. So it'd be like a side thing I would do.
Well, and that still is tied. If you're doing filmmaking, you can work with costume designers and stuff. But so primarily, those are your main interests right now.
Right now, yes.
Filmmaking and costume designing. Cosplay, that's a good transition to what I want to talk about next.
Okay.
Cosplay is an interesting universe that I do not know much about.
Oh man.
I've watched some of
You're missing out.
I've watched some of your videos where you take us to the conventions. I think that's fun. I like kind of seeing the behind the scenes of the cosplay. What got you into cosplay, and what is that universe like?
It's incredible. Like a lot of people are super cool, super creative, and a lot of them inspire others, including myself, to just keep doing that sort of like hobby. There's been incredible like costumes I've seen over the years, just from ground zero, like you had nothing around the house, to like full blown like high budget outfits.
So, from somebody that knows like really almost nothing about it, tell me if I have this correct.
Okay.
Is cosplay, is the main goal of this universe to self-build a costume and to show it off at a convention? Is that what it is?
Pretty much. But for some people, it's for business. Like they show their professional art. Like, oh, this is the quality that we're
To sell
doing
it.
this thing at. Yeah, exactly.
But it's typically off characters that already exist.
Yeah, or it's either existing characters, or I've seen some people create their own characters.
But the entire world revolves around costume building, right? Okay, so that's what it is. I just want to make sure I understand it correctly.
Yeah,
it's
you
really
got
not.
it.
It's not acting.
No.
It's most of cosplay is just about the costume.
Just showing off the costume. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I always wondered because it's.
putting yourself in that character essentially, and just being that character.
But it's primarily about the costume.
it is. Yes.
It's not an acting endeavor where it's
No.
like, okay, you have a costume designer, like for a movie and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then you become the character and act as that character. Even though I think people have a little bit of fun with it, but the main thing is to show off, hey, I built
Yeah.
this.
You showed off your work. Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Interesting.
And like I said, if you got into it, it's very fun. I mean, you can go into it any way you want, really.
What's the best costume you've designed?
You gotta put me on the spot.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Damn it. Oh boy.
Gun to your head right now. What's your
that
best?
is-
What's your best one?
You know what? Dante.
Uh,
Devil May Cry.
if you
baby.
were
I
gonna
can't
ask
get
me,
that
if you were
costume
gonna
out of
ask
my
me,
head.
if you were gonna ask me, looking at your work, I was gonna pick Dante.
Yes, that is so cool. That costume, it's so simple. I mean, that sword took like a week and a half to print, by the way. But that thing came out so damn cool. And
See, to me, the sword isn't as good as your costume. I like your costume better than the sword.
like little dinky sword that I have. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm saying I like your costume that much more.
Yeah.
I like the big red leather jacket. I like the costume more, I think, than the sword.
Yeah.
The sword is important because I know that's part of his deal, and I don't know a ton about video games, but I actually do know that game.
Yeah.
So I played it for like half a second, so I'm aware of it. But
half a second.
yeah,
Oh man,
I'm not a big video game guy. So.
I can tell. Yeah.
But I'm aware, and I liked that of all your characters. I know the Dark Sonic the Hedgehog guy. What is it?
Shadow.
Shadow
Yeah.
is a big focus for you now too.
Yes, as far as is officially part of the Etsy shop. I don't know. You probably might not know because you don't follow games, but this is the year of Shadow the Hedgehog.
What does that mean?
It means there's so much crap happening with this character that hasn't happened in like, I don't know, 10 years or something. And people kind of forgot about this guy. You know, like people did it with Luigi over the years.
So people are rediscovering Shadow.
Rediscovering this character through the new game, Sonic X Generations. Then you got the Sonic 3 movie. They actually made his real bike in real life, which you find a picture, I'll send it to you. Here it is.
Here's a picture.
That is cool. That's handmade. So I mean, it's just.
So
it's
that's
a
what I was
great-
wondering why you're focusing on Shadow. So it's
It's an
because there's a
incredible year for
resurgence
it.
in popularity, and you're
Yes.
hoping people will buy the products.
Yes, exactly. Helping bring more joy to the character that people are massive fans of for years, and people who are new fans of the character. But that character had really inspired me way back in the day, way when the game came out. I think it was, oh gosh, was that 2005? I think it was 2005 when the game came out. The Shadow the Hedgehog game came out, and that character's just been stuck in my head for years, and it almost developed this sort of like, I don't want to say edgy sort of personality of me back in the day, but it did really help me like build myself more as who I am.
Well, Shadow.
Yes,
Is he supposed to be the antithesis of Sonic?
He's you could say the opposite of Sonic.
Yeah.
A more darker version, but he's still kind of cocky. You know, he still got that sort of Sonic-ish DNA in him, but he's a little more serious.
So he's like Knuckles but darker.
Yeah, he's a lot more serious of a character. He can't. It's hard to take him really seriously.
Oh, I know. I've
But
watched your videos as
He
you
can be
as
very
Shadow.
comedic in some form or fashion.
Watching Shadow go to the different places, I've enjoyed.
Yeah, because if you think about it, he's never been to any of these things. So for him going there, he's like, oh no, I still got to find that damn fourth Chaos Emerald. You have it? No, you don't have it. There's a dead skull over here. So he's rediscovering all this stuff. He doesn't know what it is. But it works because that's him.
When you go to the cosplay conventions, do people meet up and then go out after? Is it like a social network where like you meet people and hey, I like your costume, You guys want to go grab drinks after?
You could probably make it like that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I just want to. Is that what people do or no? Or is it just like the convention is the event and that's really it? You don't like exchange numbers.
They'll
you know?
have. Oh, I mean, you can do that with people. Just be careful. Like exchanging numbers and all that stuff. But a lot of these places have an after party you can go to. That's
interesting.
like
So it's a
bar or
scheduled
something.
event.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
it's a scheduled from this and this time, but there's an after party you guys can also attend as well. When you first get into it, you'll meet a lot of cool friends out of it too.
Interesting.
A lot of cool costume designers, a lot of cool friends. I mean, heck, I still know. There's a couple of people I've met now recently that were very cool, very kind. That's how I met Kyle with that Impala through a convention.
Okay.
But during the social hour, you're also entertaining people at the same time with your costume. Not only making friends, you're being social, you're having a good time. Everybody else is having a good time too. Like you're all kind of in that same sort of energetic bubble.
Everyone's in their costumes. Everyone wants to show
Yeah, it's
off.
like a giant
intermingle.
Halloween party, you could say. Yeah, it's like the best way I could describe
Interesting. But a lot of the cosplay conventions is also stands to sell product, right?
it. Yeah, pretty much. Because there's vendors there too that sell their own products and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So you get to experience different vendors and people from all over the place, even different states and stuff.
Do you have to
bringing
pay
their products.
for a ticket to the convention?
You do. Every one of them you have to pay.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have to rent the space. It's a gathering.
Vendors you have to pay too as well. I don't know how much it is.
What is an average ticket for a cosplayer? Just someone to show up. Just ballpark. Average event.
50 to $55.
Okay, so not
for a day,
not
pretty
terrible.
much.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
For a day's event to go hang out with people,
Yeah.
that's not terrible.
Not at all.
It's not like some music concerts are like hundreds of dollars.
Dude, it's insane.
$50 for a day's event. That's fun.
Matter of fact, I think, what did I see? The Metallic concert was like $200, $300 something dollars or whatever it is.
Try buying a Taylor Swift ticket.
Oh, dude, that's worse. It's way worse than that.
Taylor Swift, One Direction, Drake. It's probably top of the financial pyramid.
Jeez. Hey, I spent $1,000 for that. Sure, yeah.
Money, money, money. Floor seats.
I
I want to feel Taylor's sweat. on my body.
Gross. No. It's called personal space.
It's about you want to be close to the artist. All right, so it's not crazy expensive to get into cosplay.
Not at all. It's like that's why anybody can get into this stuff, and even if you have a low budget, just go there for a day and that's it. So just have a good time. That's all it is.
So cosplay, the Etsy store, car videos.
The crazy ass conundrum that is the YouTube channel. It is scattered. And I honestly hated that it's scattered.
It's difficult. Well, so here's I've researched endlessly on what makes channels successful to try to figure this out.
Ow.
I'm doing the opposite, which I know it seems you are too. They say niche down, niche down, niche down. Pick a niche, however you want to say it.
And like funnel it down to one, yeah.
Because the algorithm understands that. The algorithm is just a computer. There's no
person
shadow banning is like a thing people like to say and all this kind of stuff. It's not true. It's an algorithm. It's a computer. It's trying to figure out how to serve an audience the things they want to watch.
Correct.
And if your content isn't good, if it doesn't get engagement, if it's not specific,
they don't recommend
it's
it.
difficult for a computer to figure out what you're doing and how to serve it to people. So you're kind of similar to me. And I had the idea of making a production company similar to you, which is Garrett's World is what we're on.
Yep.
And I wanted to do, I've got 5 different shows planned, 2 of which are airing now. And I wanted to have a one-stop shop for, you seen the air?
Yeah, you saw. I was like hoping you didn't see that.
Oh, I saw it. I saw the air.
Dang it.
So I had the idea of same thing, one-stop shop, to find my content. I feel like the product that hopefully people are buying is me. You know, they want to watch my content of what I'm making. But everything I've read and researched so far is that is detrimental to having success with the algorithm. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can say, screw it and just do what you want to do and try to promote and find an audience in, or you can play the algorithm's game and try to niche down and say, okay, this channel is just about this topic. Like golf is a big one for me. I would probably have more success if I just did golf only on the channel, but I don't want to just do that because you can do split channels. A lot of people do like, okay, I have 5 different channels
For 5 different topics.
Yeah,
exactly. I know.
I don't.
It's really weird.
That kind of bothers me, and I think you're kind of in the same camp, obviously, because your channel's erratic. There's stuff all over it, but that's probably one of the things that's making it more difficult for you.
Yeah, I think it's why I was like, some point I kind of hate it because of how sporadic and random it is. However, on an analytics side of it, you get people that follow it and they like, oh, I like this guy's car stuff, and you get another guy, oh, I like this guy's film, because there's like one of everything, the way I see it, for an audience to see. So it's like, hey, you're expecting this specific thing. Like, for example, people want to see the .exe stuff, and I know you guys keep harassing me about it. Don't worry about it. I know you guys want to see more of it, so don't worry. Okay.
To be honest,
I see you, Mike, in the comments down below.
I'm not a Windows guy. I had to look up what .exe is. I looked at all your videos and I was like, what the hell is
this?
Is .exe? I had to look it up. It's a Windows file, apparently.
In a nutshell, it's supposed to be a creepy pasta file type that is never supposed to be touched. It's never supposed to be open, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's essentially what it is. But yes, legitimately, it's a Windows file.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, no.
But so that's one of your series. So that's something that works for you. I think you have like a series. So audiences like, they like what they like.
Things, yeah.
So I thought that was good that you did a series, the .exe. You had the mirror.exe, Xbox. You had Alexa.
There's Alexa, Discord, and
so I like that.
Nintendo 64 is another one.
But this is the tough part, though. Like I said, because your content, you're not wrong in that. Yeah, if they like you, they like your stuff. Maybe they'll like all your stuff.
Right.
But the computer doesn't. The algorithm doesn't.
No,
the algorithm doesn't like that you did music and then you did gym videos and then you did a horror video. The algorithm doesn't know how to serve you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem, which means doesn't mean you can't be successful, but it means that you have to do your own marketing. The algorithm is not going to help you at all.
And that's pretty much how we got the follow. As a matter of fact, the word of mouth process actually helped out a lot.
So you're doing like grassroots subscribers. You're in
yeah.
person.
Like people,
check me out. Check me out.
Yeah, that's almost like 1,000. Yeah, I wouldn't say all of them, but majority of them are people that I've personally talked to at conventions or events or just you and I in general. people I've personally seen face to face
Yeah.
with, and then they tell this friend, and they tell this friend, and da.
And they subscribe, but subscribers don't always mean viewership either.
Exactly.
So you might have,
So-
like, you have 1,000 subscribers. One video might do 30 people. One video might do 2,000
60 or
people. Like,
something.
who knows?
Yeah. So it's
That's the risk in that.
I think what I'm going to wind up doing is narrowing or maybe even getting rid of some stuff that just makes no sense at all as far as the topic of what I'm trying to do. As a matter of fact, a lot of the vlogs, I don't know if you've even seen it, I've actually
I've watched the vlogs.
I've unlisted a lot of them because they were just
Really?
like nonsensical, dummy videos. And it never got a lot of views. So I was like, I don't want to
The
delete them
vlogs-
because they're memorabilia to me.
But
so-
you don't have to make them public, though. You
no,
can
I
keep
just
them
make them
private.
listed. Yeah, it's just
make
for me.
them private.
So, but a lot of it I might wind up doing is just either getting rid of it, stuff that just never got a lot of views, or stuff that just is not helping the professional side of it anymore. You know, like a lot of the goofiness. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, at the time it was hilarious, but it makes no sense for what I'm trying to go for now.
So let's circle back. What is the direction now?
Now-
What is Green Ghoul Media's direction if you want to transition to success, which is, I'm assuming like everybody, being paid to do this, to monetize some way? You have your Etsy shop, which I think is a great direction. If you want to get more viewership to your entertainment content, you haven't done tutorials in a while, it seems. Seems like your tutorials, most of them were like from 6 years ago.
Yeah. Like I said, it was the first molecule in my brain that was like, oh, maybe people should know how to set up a camera in this car or something.
Well, I mean, that's just wild. That's still your highest video.
I'm shocked.
8
to be
years
honest with
ago,
you.
that's
Like,
your number
why
one
that's
video.
just way up here now.
So, what's the direction right now? Do you have a plan?
I do.
What's the plan?
I think focusing, I'm going to do two things mainly. Just narrow it down to two things that I'm really good at, and it's something I can get comfortable and have no stress, no problem with it. And it's people that like costumes and films, period. Done. Whatever the film is about, cars, the costumes I make can go into the films, Just those two things I can get on, no problem. But no more tutorials unless it's something simple or whatever. But specifically cinematography and costumes. That's it.
I like that you're reining it in.
Yeah,
Kind
because
of tighten it in.
because it's just there's this like the gym workouts. Okay, that's funny because it's like, oh, okay, people don't mind seeing me lift 300 something pounds or something like that off the ground.
You're a strong dude. I want to talk about my audience because I do a lot of fitness. I don't know if you know.
I mean, you look buff as heck, man. Are you kidding me? Like, look at those arms. Boom. Look at those pythons.
I'm in tough shape right now. I'm not in my best shape. A lot of pizza and beer in my life.
That's the best part, though.
But I actually studied, so I have a physiology degree. So
heck yeah.
I worked as a professional for a while, strength and conditioning coach. I trained athletes. I've been an athlete most of my life. But I want to highlight that you're a beast. You're a strong guy.
for
I
weighing
watched some-
like 200 something pounds.
I watched
yeah.
some of your videos. Hugh is lifting some weights, maxing out. I watched you max out a bicep curl machine.
That was
Like
240
240 pounds.
Yeah, 6
I
reps.
watched
yeah.
it.
And that was slow repetitions, too. It's not like fast curls.
No, so you're a strong dude. See, this is what's so wild about you. It's like you're, like I said, your content
It's sporadic,
is
I know.
everywhere. I like seeing that because that's more in my wheelhouse. I mean, that's what I studied. You know, I went to school for that. It's a big part of my life is athletic training, and that's one of the things I'm working towards is my martial arts shows.
Oh,
I
heck
don't know if
yeah.
you watched any of my previous interviews and stuff like that, but one of the main reasons I got into all of this is when I worked professionally was I was working towards action films. That's what I want to do with my life. I've been a lifetime martial artist. I want to, I've professionally done stunt work, all kinds of stuff. I've acted, all this stuff. But my goal is to take all of this. I love all the stuff I'm doing, but I'm working towards a martial arts series or movie to get back into that realm and hopefully create my own via YouTube. But I was really pleasantly surprised to find your workout videos, your training stuff, because I wouldn't have guessed that from your other content.
Right, yeah.
Your other content is so in different directions to cosplay and cars, all these things. To all of a sudden, I'm
Just
watching you
weightlifting.
max out a fucking bicep machine. I was like, fucking damn, this dude is
Yeah, I
strong
know.
as shit.
It's just, it's
You're a
not
fucking
to,
tank, Hugh.
Appreciate it.
How tall are you? 6'1", 6'2"?
6 exactly, actually.
Damn, dude,
So,
you got some meat on the bones.
That's 10 years of weightlifting. And I got to hand it to my dad because he got me into that right off the gate when I was 18 years old. So
Is that,
17 years old.
do you think that's your, let me check the time real quick. We have a couple minutes.
Do we blow up?
Yeah, we got 2 minutes before we got this. Because so far in our experiences so far, you're not a drinker like me. So
no.
Not even close. I mean, most people aren't. Let's be cool, audience.
I mean, in case if anybody's wondering,
Yeah.
this is a BCAA drink,
Yeah.
not an alcohol drink.
Hugh is keeping it fresh, but my question is, do you think that's your number one outlet for stress?
What's that? Weightlifting? Yes. 100%.
So, I mean,
Because
most people, go out to the bar, just chop it up with their buddies, whatever. But for you, do you think it's fitness?
Yes. It has saved my ass so many times when I got on the brink of like, I got to beat somebody. So it's like, well, this inanimate object is not alive. Bong, bong, bong. Let me just beat the hell out of this thing and not beat it on a person. And let me tell you, it brings that stress so low that I'm like, I'm calm as a friggin' squirrel.
Oh, I get
not
it.
a squirrel, but a dog. Whatever. I don't know.
I have always said if I'm not
But,
working out or hitting the punching bag, I'm not a nice person. I
Yes.
have to
You
take that
have to
energy
have an
somewhere.
outlet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I drink too, and I party and cut loose that way. But
Yeah.
fitness is probably the foundation for
It
me.
is- it is
that's what keeps me to be a good person. Because when I'm not working out or hitting the bag,
Yeah.
I get so frustrated with people.
It is the greatest free medication you can have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can do whatever you want to do in that gym, like burn out some steam or just get built or burn some calories, whatever it is, up here, doesn't matter. That gym is your outlet for not only clearing your head, but relieving yourself of some nonsense negative energy. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I've
completely agree with that.
I've never said anything, but I've come very close to, because I was so stressed out, I was so angry, and it's just whatever the circumstance was. But that gym really came in handy, and it saved my ass countless times when I got close to being really dark. So, and the heavier I went with that weight, the more of that anger just beep, 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 pew, gone. So I encourage anybody, if you're not right up here, you see that gym, get your ass in there. I don't care what you do, treadmill, lifting some dumbbell, whatever. Get your ass in there. Period.
I'm glad you found the gym to keep yourself sane. Let's hit this commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Part 3. Hugh has been kind enough to sit with us, hear us.
Whoa, where am I at?
You may be asleep. I'm the only one drinking, but I'm awake.
Are you kidding me? I ain't been drinking cider.
So we were just talking off camera.
Sorry.
You've hit 1,000 subs. Big deal. Am I wrong? Or am I right?
Dave. Thanks for the confidence boost.
What? That is a big deal.
Yeah, I know it is. Just the way
So-
you phrased it was funny to me.
So
Oh my gosh.
So you may or may not have something planned. You don't have to go into it in detail if you don't want, but you are going to celebrate this accomplishment. Honestly, that's a big deal, dude. I was celebrating like my 67th subscriber. Like it's a big
what?
deal. 67th subscriber. Like it's a big deal to get people to subscribe to your channel, your work. Like this is a labor of love. Like I'm doing.
You're doing a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I tell people,
it's like,
I spend probably no less than 20 hours a week doing my YouTube stuff, which pays me nothing right now. Zero, because I'm trying to build a future business. I'm doing shooting. And honestly, if you add in the shoot times, like the golf videos take a while to shoot. Obviously, the
hot
shooting
as hell
time
out there too.
It's very difficult. So, but the amount of time I put in this is substantial.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand it when they're watching these videos.
Mm-hmm.
You get it because you're creating it. And like I said, reaching I think you have to take all the victories along the way.
Yep.
Like when I released my 100th video, to me it's a big deal.
Yes.
I sent my friends a message. I wrote like a thank you. I commented on my own video and wrote a thank you.
Same.
No one even read the comment. But to me, it was a big deal. I was like, I wrote like a heartfelt comment about my 100th video because to me it was a big deal. You have to take the small wins.
Yes.
Because you can't I don't think you can judge yourself on results.
Nope.
Results driven metrics will kill you. You'll
Yes.
lose your mind. So I think that if you can reward yourself with working goals, you can have some sanity in this.
Yes.
And that's what I want to highlight, and cheers to you for reaching 1,000 subscribers, because that's a big deal.
After 9 ding dang yin yang years.
But do you know what that says though? That says that you're still passionate, you're still working, and maybe you haven't found exactly what's going to push you up to the next level yet.
Right.
But that you're getting there. You're honing it in. Maybe it's as simple as what we discussed earlier of you picking 2 solid directions to focus.
Yes.
Maybe it took the 9 years for you to kind of wander around and find what you're good at, passionate about, and you can market. I think that's the big part of it, is marketing.
Yeah.
Trying to make sure your audience knows what you're doing. So maybe it's just, you know, I talked a lot about this when like back in the acting days, is people think like people are successes overnight. You say, oh, this actor, this director, whatever, oh, they just popped up. The reality is they had been grinding for 8-10 years, auditioning, failed pilot, failed movie, failed this, and then you catch a role that gets you noticed, and people think, oh, this guy's an overnight success. That's not the truth.
No, it is not.
So I think your case is the same in YouTube, is that maybe this is the steps it took to get you to where you're at, and I think your direction is going to propel you.
I agree, because like it did feel like those, I want to say 8 years, because this year was very successful for me. Actually, prior to that, past 2 years have been successful for me as far as narrowing down what the heck it is I want to do. It did take me minutes to find out, okay, where is everything getting more, I guess, like view count or attention. Half the reason why is because I dropped music, because nobody cares. I don't know why, but whatever. So I stopped making music, dropped that.
But how do you know if you don't put it out? I mean, that's I think that takes some courage.
It depends on what they want to watch and what they want to consistently watch and come back for. Does that kind of make sense? So like with the music stuff, it never, some songs received a lot of attention, especially if I was writing it or whatever. But when it was a custom thing and no one knows what it is or what it's about, what it's related to, they're like, eh.
I think there's kind of balancing the metric of viewership and subscribers will help. It's like you have 1,000 plus subscribers. Some of your videos have gotten, 33K, like 44K. And that's almost will give you a direction, I think.
Yes.
And I think your audience is telling you, maybe, 150 people subscribe to you for your guitar videos.
Right.
But maybe 800 people subscribe to you before your horror shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's kind of like throwing spaghetti against the wall, and then having the wherewithal to look at it and say, okay, people really responded to this.
Yes.
I know you like doing this, and this.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you can't stop doing it.
No.
But if you want to make it a profession and a career, to a degree, you have to listen and say, wow, people are really responding to my horror shorts or my tutorials. Maybe I should lean into this a little bit. That is
exactly where my process was after that. When I started discovering that, what people really wanted to see, I was like, all right, that's what we're going to focus on. That's what people want to see. That's what we can keep making more of. And that's helped out a lot. And that's mainly thanks to the people for just narrowing that down for me and being, okay, I got this. That's what we need to start managing, I suppose. Because if it wasn't for that sort of like realization, I'd still be like, sporadic and all over the place.
Your creative mind is wonderfully sporadic, but to make it manageable for an audience, I think sometimes you have to sit back and look and say,
yes,
this is what's doing well.
Yes, you have to look at the response at it.
You kind of have to lean into it a little bit and be like, oh, people are responding to this.
Yes.
And like I said, it doesn't mean you can't do those other things.
No.
But to grow your audience and to work towards a profession, which all of us are doing.
Yes.
You kind of have to get the people what they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's your viewers are what will eventually pay the bills.
Yeah.
That's what gets you advertisers, subscribers. If you're going to sell a product, if you're going to sell T-shirts, merch, whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, that's going to pay the bills.
Yep.
So you got to kind of lean into it. I think your horror niche, I think, is probably, in my opinion, one of the best things you've been doing, because it's funny. You have a good
stuff,
you have a good mix of the horror shorts, but you kind of like mixing comedy in it.
Some
You've
of
got an
them,
interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoy it, and I think your audience does too.
Yeah. That's why a lot of the EXE films, they love it, because there's a good fine line between really scary and then just stupid. So it's just like, you ever heard of the actor Jerry Lewis?
Yeah.
That one of my inspirations, that guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, grew up watching the Delicate Delinquent, Nutty Professor, all the films. So my comedic aspect was between him and Jim Carrey and all these other guys. And I was like, I like the simpleness of the comedy, but also the seriousness of the horror. So how do we find that little middle ground? Henceforth, Xbox.exe. It's a fine line between the two of them.
I like your camera work too. So if you don't completely want to be in front of the camera too, I like a lot of your camera work and the shorts and the car videos. I think you've got a good eye for shots.
Yes.
I like a lot of that too. I think you can have success with that.
Ow.
And you can too. Just grab a camera like your phone and just whatever.
That's the hardest part, honestly. Is there's a Mark Twain quote that I've lived on for a long time, and it's the hardest part of success is getting started.
Yes.
It's just something. Honestly, I'm misquoting it. I'm forgetting directly, but it's something to that effect. And that is one of the most difficult things to just start it. And then I highlighted this a lot on my channel. There's a quote from Peter McKinnon. He's a wonderful photographer, videographer, professional, and he always says, finishing the product is more important than having it be perfect.
Yeah, that's true. And I can say that for a lot of the films that I've done. There is a bit. I mean, I'm a perfectionist. Let's be honest.
Done
100%.
is better than perfect.
Exactly.
That's the terse,
it's done
truncated
and
version.
over with. You don't have to finalize or perfect anything. It's just it is done.
I have said it time and time again on this podcast, and I'll keep saying it. Peter McKinnon, done is better than perfect. If you want to pursue YouTube or any of this, you have to put work out.
Yes,
and it's very difficult to complete it.
Yes.
I mean, before I got into YouTube, I wrote like 5 different scripts that I never finished for movies because I was constantly working on it. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Oh, yeah.
And I never completed it. YouTube kind of gave me that freedom. And honestly, that one quote, I stare at myself in the mirror and I say it, not literally, but like I literally, when I'm editing something, I'll be working on something for too long and I'll tell myself, done is better than perfect.
Yeah. You just got to
move on.
Yeah.
And that will help you get to the next level because what you learned on this edit, you'll do on the next edit, the next edit, the next edit. And that's difficult to do because you have to accept that perfection isn't real.
No, because everybody can be a perfectionist and nothing's going to be perfect, period. Just no matter how hard you change it, move it around or whatever, nothing's going to be perfect.
Well, and putting yourself on YouTube is vulnerable.
Yes,
you're showing yourself, your work, what you think about something. To me, it's a huge vulnerability.
It is, yeah. So there is some sort of, I guess the word I can use is realization, I suppose, when exposing yourself to the internet. So you have to, I don't want to say the word discipline, but I guess discipline yourself. When it comes to editing or filming and how much you're what you're filming essentially. And there's a point in there where you have to find a stopping point, whether you're editing or filming and say, hey, this might work. Okay, I like it, but will they like it? Am I exposing too much? Am I doing too much?
You got to press upload.
Yes. Yeah. You just have to get to that end point. Say, all right, you know what? This is fine.
Well, what worked for me is when I first started, I knew my work was going to be not what I wanted.
Right, like not up here, but just or at least down on the physical matter.
I put timelines. I forced myself for the 2 shows, the podcast and the golf show, to upload 2 episodes a week.
Ooh, boy!
So when I first started my first year,
that's not stressful.
I've cooled off on myself. Now that I crossed a year, my first year, I said no matter what happens, I'm putting 2 episodes out a week. And no matter how much I hated it, loved it. There was a few instances where I was at the deadline at midnight, pulling my hair out because I had and this is all self-imposed, but it was important to me to keep to that schedule because I knew that if I put that deadline on myself, that I would complete it. And that I would get better and better and better versus my natural would have been to work 3 months on a single video.
I've
And I knew I had to take that out of my hands.
Yeah.
So it's almost like studying for a test for in school.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the test is this date.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do or don't do, the test is there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I looked at it. I said, no matter what happens.
You got to get it done.
Yeah, yeah. Whether I love it,
just
whether
keep
I hate
fiddling
it,
with it, yeah.
maybe I didn't do all the editing I wanted to, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
Maybe
you have to release it Wednesday, 5 p.m.,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I
So-
like that now because I've been putting myself on a schedule when it comes to video.
It helps.
It helps a lot.
Because it's too easy. Look, life gets in the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things you got to do, not just sit there in front of a screen.
We have a real job to pay the bills. You have family, girlfriend, wife, whatever it is.
The gym.
Yeah, the gym. Yeah, I mean that's it's funny that's something that suffered for me as like my work life balance has been a little off in that aspect,
Yep.
and it's like it's always a give and take to balance it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you still need that structure to complete it, and if you're going to do something new like this,
Yep.
you have to self-impose some kind of a deadline
Yes, you have to.
because otherwise you will
It's-
will not complete it.
No, it's just like we were saying in the beginning. It's just when, like, with my mind, when it comes to these films, it never ends. There's got to be an ending to it. Where's the last chapter of this book that I'm reading? But when you just have to learn how to discipline yourself enough to be like, oh, done. Stop messing with it. Just leave it alone. And that process has helped out a crud ton when it comes to videos, especially if I have to get something out on a specific date, henceforth Halloween, which will lead into something I'm going to tell you guys. But hold on a second. Hold your pants down or up, not down, please. Keep them on. Whatever you got to do. Do not, whatever.
The audience just slashed you. Genitals in the audience everywhere.
Oh, yeah, not you.
So let me ask you this.
But yeah, you have to find, if you're going to have a video uploaded by a specific day, let's say you have a golf video that needs to be uploaded by Monday and it's like Friday or something like that. I don't know. And it's like, all right, I need to just grind. All right, done.
It helps me to push it out. I've gotten a little more lax on myself after my first year mark, but I found it extremely important and helpful.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have the amount of content I have now if I didn't do that. And it was stressful and it was tough. And a lot of my videos are not my favorite, but there's no other way to learn than experience.
Sorry, I'm laughing about the pants thing. Excuse me for a minute.
You're still looking at our audience showing you.
I'm not looking over there anymore because it's already disturbing enough.
Put them on, audience.
Hello. Excuse me.
What are your goals right now? I kind of gave you some future goals. Let's talk maybe more short term because
Sure.
I know your brain is everywhere.
Thanks.
Within 6 months, what are you trying to complete right now within 6 months? Half a year? Do you have set goals? Do you write them down? Do you impose structure? What do you want to complete in the next 6 months?
A lot, actually.
I want to know specifics. See, here's the thing. Goals have to be measurable, attainable, and you have to have a deadline. So I don't want to hear a lot. I want to hear in 6 months, what do you want to complete? You don't have to be specific, but tell me, like, is it 3 videos? Is it a movie? Is it this? What is it?
3 main things.
Okay.
I'll get to those. One of them being a specialty Halloween film that I got to get done in, like, I don't know, a couple days. Another one is a much more higher budgeted film that involves 2 particular costumes that I've built and that people really like. And the last one, I think another costume, but it has to be something that I haven't touched before that challenges me a little bit more, you know. I don't care about the time frame, how long it takes to make it, but it's a cool learning process. Another.
I think you have to put a time frame on it. Otherwise, it's
That-
open ended is
yeah.
probably because you're a creative guy. I can already tell. Open ended is too much for you.
Yeah, that costume, especially when it comes to costumes. Let's say, oh, I got to go to Spookalla at this date. All right, I have this time frame to build this thing. All right, now we're done. Because that's what I do with all my costumes. If I got to go somewhere to present it, that's how long of a time frame I have to get
That's
it
your
done.
deadline.
That's the deadline.
So you'll
which
pick-
is
you'll pick,
usually
yeah.
enough time to get like all the stuff and buy everything and whatever. But when it comes to films, it's usually on a specific holiday or event or something. Unless it's like a film that I just need to get out before, I don't know, let's say before a month happens. But usually films come when it's a specific date coming up, a specific holiday usually. And that's the timeline I have to get it done. Or if I have to get some sort of schedule, it's like, oh, I got to get at least 1 or 2 videos done a month, whatever it is, short film or a costume or something like that. Because then it keeps the audience entertained. They're not just waiting around. But I also don't want to do filler content, which is not good. A lot of that stuff back then was fillers.
just producing to produce. But, you know, I think there is some benefit in the discipline of putting work up, even if it's quote unquote filler.
Yes.
To say, you know what, I don't have a ton prepared today, but I told myself I was going to do 2 videos this week. So I'm gonna put this video about me making a taco out, whatever it is, because I still think think you can learn from that. Because I think getting started is difficult.
It's very difficult.
So I think even though if it's quote unquote filler, I think there's a ton of learning in that process. So I don't think it's bad. That brings me to a good kind of intersection. So anybody that's just starting out, you have years more experience than me. What are like 3 things you would tell a brand new YouTuber that you've learned that would help them in their first year? Hey, someone wants to, they pulled this up and said, you know, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. What's something you can impart on them to help them on their first year? What would you tell them?
First of all, you got to find what it is you want to do. Like what do you want to focus on? It could be 1 or 2 things. Fine, just narrow it down, whatever you got to do.
That's funny coming from you.
Hey,
20 million things in my brain.
But that's good. That's good advice though. That's because honestly, it's tough.
Finding a topic of what it is you want to post or work on or whatever it is, find at least 2 minimum, so you have some flexibility there. So you're not just restrained to one thing. Second thing is, do you want to do something like this podcast? You want to be mobilized? Do you want to stay stationary? Because that all depends on your equipment. If you're doing something like what this is, a studio, you just have everything planted, it doesn't move. Okay, what kind of equipment do you need for that? Like you need a tripod, a camera, this, headphones. If you're mobile, you need a tripod, obviously, a gimbal, a decent camera that can do at least 4K. If you can't have the budget for it, get an FHD, like an M50 like you have.
I don't think you need 4K. I don't
really
think anyone watches anything in 4K.
It is nice when you do extra stuff to manipulate the footage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I just think
if
like
you
most
do
people don't even have a
change it-
4K TV, so I feel like you're just spinning your wheels. Like
It is, but it does help on an editing standpoint.
interesting.
So even if you film it in 4K, you drop the rendering to FHD, the crispness still stay, like the sharpness and the coloration stay.
Yeah.
It doesn't shrink the quality of it at all. Whereas if you film in FHD, it shrinks to 720. You're like, what the hell happened? Because everything's different. The quality went kaput when you rendered it.
Nothing about 4K. Buy more SD cards. Good Lord.
Oh, let me tell you. I have 2 hours of recording on one card and it's just gone. I was like, I got to get another one now. That's 2 things. Your equipment, how you want your stuff set up, what it is you want to do. That's another one. I guess the last thing would be to see that's interesting because the 2 main things are the equipment and what you're trying to film. Those are 2 really, really, really big ones. The third one, I guess, is are you having fun enough with it? Like,
I'm so glad you said that.
Are you enjoying it? Are you putting a lot of passion into it, or are you just doing it just to kind of bored and you want to put some time in it? No, like, are you really enjoying it?
I'm so glid you said that because I actually just had a conversation with my wife about that today.
Really?
Well, I think
it's kind of true. It's like you don't want to put something in the work, then you're just like, I don't like it or whatever.
To do this, you're not going to be an overnight success.
Yes.
No one is.
No one is.
You have to pick a direction that makes you happy. If your only goal is money, success, whatever, you're going to fail.
Oh, it's gone.
You have to pick something that the work makes you happy.
Yes.
Because this is
otherwise you feel miserable. And
this
you're
is
just
a
forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do.
Love. Even when you love the content, the work around the content is challenging. Like we mentioned editing earlier. We mentioned it's even like structuring yourself. You're a really
sporadic
improvisational guy. And so for you to rein yourself in, that's some of the work. To say, have all these crazy ideas to make a fun video.
Yeah.
And the work for you is to make it cohesive, storyboard it, get someone else to help you and manage their time.
Exactly.
That's the work. And then editing, that's the work in it. So even in something you are passionate about, there's work involved.
Yeah.
So if the main focus is in something that makes you happy, you're going to burn out.
Yeah, yeah. You're going to flatline eventually. I think it was a concept of if you're lifting weights. Sorry to sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but still, it's the same concept. If you're lifting weights and you're not changing that weight and you're just staying to that same weight over and over and over and over again for almost whatever time frame, you're going to flatline. You're not growing anything. You're not losing anything. You're just, you want to keep your system like this in a wavelength. You don't want to go, and you don't want to go, okay? You want to keep yourself very even, very steady.
Well, and just staying positive.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's very
staying
difficult.
positive,
Staying
staying motivated.
Yeah.
Just
I think it's very
enjoy
easy.
what you want to do.
Yeah, it's very easy to be
force
negative.
yourself. Yeah.
And like I said, I think some things that I find helpful are working goals rather than results-driven goals.
Yep.
Because you might spend 30 hours on a video and it gets 10 views.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And
I've been there.
You can't manage your success on results
Yep.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Perhaps when you're a professional, that's the metric you can look at. But to start out, you can't.
No. Yeah.
So you have to look at working goals.
Yes.
Okay, did I do, okay, I've got 3 months, I want to see if this works. Okay, what's your goal, concrete? I would say, okay, let's do 10 videos.
Right.
20 videos. Whatever it is, set yourself a goal and a schedule and work towards it. That's why for me, I feel similar to you in that there's so many things I want to do, but what's helped me to focus is I create what I call shows.
Yeah.
So like
and it works.
the late night show, like this podcast, this is a show.
Yep.
The golf show is a show. There's a lot of other things I want to do, but it's kind of helped me narrow my focus and time.
Yep.
So like, okay, well, I need to do this many shows for the golf show this week. I need to do this many podcasts this week. And it forces me to put some horse blinders on and focus on that one task. Even though there's a lot of other stuff I still want to do, but
just stick with what you have right now. Don't do this because then you're going to be like me and you're like,
well, and it's not bad, but I think it's like
to kind of manage.
So like I have 3 other shows I want to produce. The main one I want to work towards, I've said about it on a few different interviews, is the martial arts show. That's kind of like what I built this entire empire on, is to get me back towards that. I mean, that's what I was working towards professionally when I was in LA. Yep. And this is what I want to get back to on my own accord. But it takes so much more work. Kind of to your point of when you're filming the horror shorts.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more planning
Yes.
when you're working with other people.
Yep.
When you're working with locations, when you're working with timelines, all this other stuff.
Key
So
grip too, like props and equipment and where you're moving this to and where this needs to go.
the bigger the project, the bigger the work.
Yep.
So
exactly.
I know I'm not there yet. I've been doing a ton of writing to get there. So like when that's available, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But logistically, I'm just not there yet.
Right.
So
yeah.
I looked at the shows where I was like, what can I create now?
Right. What can you manage now?
Yes, and that's kind of what I've been focusing on, so I
Exactly.
can continue to work to the next level. And I think that's the key for whatever your passion is, like we mentioned, is picking 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it is.
Yeah, just funneling it down.
Yeah.
You know.
And say, okay, I want to do a show or a channel about this and this and this.
Yup.
And then honing it in and say, okay, I can probably do 5 episodes of this. And then this other interest I have.
Yep.
I can do 5 episodes of this.
Yep.
5 episodes of this, and then putting some timelines on yourself. I think that's helpful because
It's very helpful. Yes. It will save your ass in the whole process of it.
when creative people by nature, they're creatives. They're all over the place. So
Yeah,
I think some structure is what makes it work. And if you're not in a circumstance where you have someone helping you, overseeing you,
Right.
you have to self-impose.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Otherwise,
put
you're never going to
that-
make it. Yeah.
You got to put that solid director's cap on and just be, all right, here's my list of things I got to get done. When am I get it done? That. Go. Just limit yourself, discipline yourself, lock yourself down to a method. Don't jump around. Just lock it in. And then once, guess what? That method you just taught yourself, like, I don't know, a couple days ago, that's going to be your method for everything. And you're going to be so damn comfortable with it. And it's so relaxing. It's less stress. And you'll feel good. Like, you'll feel like you accomplished something and you get something done on a time.
Because these are
time
working
frame.
goals. Same
Yeah,
thing.
Exactly. It's a
like
working goal. Yeah.
I found something that that I have found comfort in that I can kind of create something and then make it repeatable.
Right. Yes.
Because for
Yes.
me, the more I do it, the less stressful it becomes.
Yes.
When I first started the podcast and the golf vlog, oh my God, I was pulling my hair out doing these videos,
Imagine,
and how to film them, how to do whatever.
Yeah. Where does this need to go? Where do you need to sit?
The more I
Yeah.
did it, now I'm really comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
I'm comfortable
You look
in both of
in it.
these.
Like,
Hey, thank you.
You're 100% confident in it now.
I feel good about it now, but that wasn't the case.
No.
Like,
when
oh my
when you
God.
start, you're like,
No, you feel so weird. You feel uncomfortable. You're gonna make mistakes, but the fact of we can't preach this enough. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Narrow down the focus. There's our timer. Narrow down the focus and keep doing it.
yes.
I'll
That's
tell
a
you
great way to end that too. Just narrow yourself down on what you want to do. I don't care if it's YouTube, just anything.
Anything.
Make a schedule, make a method, find the niche, get the equipment if you need the equipment, and just go. Have fun with it. Just do your thing, essentially.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take one more commercial break. We're going to do some final thoughts because we've been running it long. But let's do one more commercial break and let's do some final thoughts. Leave the audience. We'll see you in a minute.
All right.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hugh,
Hi.
you've been so generous with your time with us tonight. Is there anything else you want to go over about YouTube, this entire process, your work, anything? Is there anything you want to discuss before we roll out of here?
I think you pretty much hit everything, to be honest with you. I mean, the sporadic mind that is me, and just narrowing everything down and knowing the do's and don'ts and wrongs and rights when it comes to doing this. Really, if anybody's willing to try this, yes, it's going to be a headache to try and find your niche or whatever it is you're trying to do. But once you start understanding yourself, essentially, like where your mind wants to go, then it starts to become so much easier. It's like, okay, now I understand what I want, but also you understand what the audience wants. Especially if you're going a social media platform like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, la 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 la.
I don't think you can serve the audience though completely. I think you have to serve yourself first.
You have to take in accommodation reviews and what people kind of like and don't like. True. Not, to the teeth, but just to be like, okay, I understand what's going on here. Maybe I should not do this thing, but they did like this, so I'm going to do more of those things. And it's just start engaging a little more to what they want, but at the same time, you're still putting your own sort of brains into the matter of it. Yes, I am ethologically correct. You can Google that.
You 9 years, YouTube content creator. No. What's the thing you're the most proud of?
Honestly, not even anything to do with the films. It's friends. It's just the people I've worked with, buddies of mine, all from high school. I still know them today. And sometimes if it wasn't for them, the craziness that it was that came out of those videos probably would have never happened. Just knowing people that like the same thing that you want to do and they're passionate about it, even if it's for nonsense. Friends were like the biggest thing for me, just being a sociable bastard, essentially. Talking to everybody, knowing everybody, doing this thing, doing something silly and funny, and just documenting it like a diary. And I always see that channel as a diary. And sharing that sort of like relationship with people and having people laugh at it because of it. So friends for me were the biggest thing. Just helping me, stay motivated and stay positive and just funneling that sort of artistic side of me more. Nothing to do with films, which is cool and all, but it's the friends and people you work with that really benefit more. I believe that 100%.
I don't think we can end on a better note than that.
All right, cut. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, for real. If you have any questions for me, anything, but I think this has been an amazing interview. I appreciate you sharing your time with us, your insights on years of work. I mean, that's
years of nonsense and just learning and educating myself.
I honestly think that's the way, though. I mean, I think
it is honestly, if you think about it, it is kind of the way to do it. But for a lot of people, I get it. Like they can't do that sort of process where it's sporadic. But sporadic usually is a nicer thing than just a strict deadline, because then it just becomes stressful. It's annoying, it's stressful, it's too much, you can't handle it anymore. Then you lose interest, and then it just drops it entirely. But sporadic is usually better because it evokes more improv out of yourself and more creative aspects and just more in general going into projects, whatever it is.
I think we've definitely learned that that's your style, that's your strong suit. It's been impressive that you're still here, you're still battling, you're still trying to find what makes you happy in this. And I've enjoyed watching a lot of your content, like I said, because it's so diverse. You get a good you commented and mentioned it as a diary. Your channel really is almost like a journal.
It essentially is. Like it's like we were saying before, if you can't write it down, how is you going to do it? There you go. That's your book. That's your portfolio. That's your memoir, you could say, is the YouTube channel. And I always see it as
behind, yeah.
Yeah, I always like seeing the next chapter of where we go, or where I go, or whatever happens. This is the next focus after all this, whatever chapters we had, several many. So let's say 9 years of chapters. 9 chapters total. 10th one, I'm wanting it to be the biggest one. The biggest, craziest, yet more professional side of it. And I think that's the one that's going to stay for the longest time.
I think it will be. I think... I feel like I can see, as somebody who's an outsider looking into your channel, I feel like I can see the path. But even before we had this conversation tonight, I feel like I can see the path of where your channel and your work is going. And it was really interesting for you to reiterate those thoughts that I had, because I think the things that you're doing really well and the things you're really good at, you figured it out. And I think you're already planning on to expand on that.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what you do next. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, sharing with us. You've been very patient and vulnerable. I mean, that's part of it. I mean,
it is part of it. You have to kind of just understand from the perspective of the guy who has to deal with it.
Artists are all crazy people.
Like,
I mean, this is the reality.
Yeah, in their own right. Yeah.
I mean, that's some of the most creative people. On the surface, don't make the most sense.
Right.
And there always is a method to the madness, but I've seen where you're going, what you're doing, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm excited to see what's coming up next, and I appreciate you sharing it. I've really been thinking in the last few moments on you calling it a journal. That's a really interesting
diary, sort of speak.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way for you to put it, and I hope you guys go watch Hugh's content, Green Ghoul Media. Where can they find you on all your socials?
Green Ghoul Media on YouTube. It's Green Ghoul Media Official. And then the Etsy shop is also linked to it, so it's called Green Ghoul Crafting. If you're a Shadow Hedgehog fan, you're going to like what's on that shop right now. It is that stuff's selling like crazy, so you might want to comp something before.
Cosplay material, that's really cool.
It's hard for me to keep up with it because it's so sporadic.
We didn't even get into it. I have so many notes about the 3D printing. We went on all these topics, but you know what? We'll bring Hugh back.
If you guys like this video enough and you give him some more sass on it, don't do that. Don't harass him. He's a nice guy. Okay. Just if you like this video enough, we'll do a part 2 to this. What do you think of them apples?
We'll bring Hugh back.
I'll bring some apples too, just to prove you. No, stupid.
We'll bring all the apples. We'll bring the excitement. We'll bring the whole crew.
Here you go, man. Just make some cider out of it or something. Oh my gosh.
Hugh, thank you again for coming. I'm really excited to see what you do next. You know where to find me. I'm always here all the time. I live in the same city. Makes life easy. Let's hit the outro.
You guys were this far into it.
What the heck? You gotta subscribe to this guy. This guy's hilarious. Hit the subscribe
like, give us some comments. We appreciate you coming out.
Listen, I'm gonna go all out on you right now.
I want to see some more.
If you don't subscribe to Garrett's World right now, you got another thing coming. And you're just another monster for me to kill. Because I am Duke Nukem, and if you don't got my gun...
Hugh doesn't know. I'm gonna bring him around my martial arts stuff coming up.
Can't think there's newcomers?
Bring him.
No, I'll bring it.
The Doomslayer.
Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.
Yeah, there'll definitely be a part 2. 100%.